Monday, happy Monday. What a great day to start the week with something new when it looks at increasing your productivity and being able to be unleashed and unstoppable as an irresistible, bold leader. So, what is this shift that I want to speak into today that's going to support you in increasing your productivity? Well, I'll share a little bit of how I came to notice this, right? So, I'm sure if you're like myself, you've got your journal, you go through, right? You look at your day, you make your to-do list, and it was in this moment when, working in leadership and looking at the shifts of learning about, shifting from the being, from the doing, and really looking at the be, do, have, that I kind of had this aha moment, right? Of catching myself, on this, sort of on the mundane, I call it the mundane train, right? Where you just kind of, you find yourself just in this motion, going through the things, but finding yourself perhaps pretty like disconnected from like what's happening, right? You just wake up, you go through your thing, you do your day. If you have a nighttime routine, you do your nighttime routine, you go to bed, rinse and repeat, right? And it just kind of caught me, one, working with my clients and also just really noticing myself, and had this aha moment. And what it was this, as I said, had the journal, going through my day, and it was on my mind, this be, do, have piece that my coaches, mentors, and trainers were really leaning into, and noticing patterns with my clients. And I'm like, what is missing? And this was the missing piece. It was the being, right? And I heard this so much when I started as a neuroproductivity coach, with people coming to me, right? And like, one of the number one things was, I want to get more done, right? I want to be able to go to bed and have my to-do list complete. And so I will speak into a few things that I noticed in terms of like some of the breakdowns that were happening towards that. But here was a big thing that shifted for me. Yes, I still go through my day and look, okay, what's on the calendar? What do I get to do? Right? The doing. But then I shifted into looking at my day and asking myself, who do I get to be today to go through my day, so that I'm not just on this autopilot, that I'm really intentional and present, and that I experience the sort of outcome that I want to experience in these moments, right? It's a lot of time, like, you're doing the doing to create an outcome on the other side of that, right? The actions we take impact the results that we generate. And this all stems from our decisions, which, if we go back even further, it's based on our being and our beliefs and our being and our identity. So this is something where I shifted, and it has shifted things greatly. After going through my day and looking at, yes, what do I get to accomplish in the day? I then ask myself, who do I get to be to accomplish this? And not just accomplish this, but who do I get to be in these different moments of my day, right? I mean, I am multifaceted. I show up in a variety of different spaces, right? Doing a variety of different things, right? From being a business technology instructor, from being a leader, a transformational leadership neurohacking coach and expert, from a podcaster, from a speaker, to the COO of a digital web agency, right? And so I get to be really intentional in these areas of my life where I show up. And so, of course, being intentional is one way of being, and also realizing, who do I get to be in these different moments, right? So when I'm on a coaching call with a client, clients come to me for breakthroughs, right? And so I get to be committed to being lovingly interruptive, right? I get to be committed to being present and connected, so that I can connect with, okay, what's going on in my client's brain, so I can support them. And so this is what I started to do. I would go through my day and really ask myself, like, who am I committed to being today? Right? So for today, I'm committed to being connected. I'm committed to being rigorous. I'm committed to being open. I'm committed to being abundant, and I'm committed to being loving, right? And going through my day, setting this intention of being, it is so beautiful to see how things have opened up in how I show up in my day, right? And so instead of, and this is where the really cool shift is, instead of shifting into, making sure I did all the things on the to-do list, right? And here's the thing, like, The reality is we're going to have to-do lists, and we're probably going to have a lot of things on there that maybe we won't get completed in the day. Like, and this is part of our wiring and subconscious, right? And I can speak into that a little bit in a second. But when I focus on, like 3 to 5 ways of being in the day, I could look at this at the end of the day, which became my, and I don't even want to say like a new to-do list. It was just a matter of looking at, okay, was I connected today? Yes. Was I, rigorous, right? Did I show up with some rigor through my day and what I got to, of course, accomplish, right? Get through my day. Was I open? Did I lean into abundance? And was I loving? And oh my goodness, when you start looking at these 3 ways of being, and right as I said, like 3 to 5 ways of being, they declare in the morning, and you realize, like, oh my goodness, I showed up in all these ways because here's the reality, right? Like, the power of the intention is when you set that intention, it's going to support how you're going to show up. You experience the dopamine, right? Because here's the thing with the to-do list, right? We have the to-do list, we go through the day, we check things off, we feel good, right? Because we felt like we accomplished something, we moved something forward, we experience dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and that's going to fuel us to keep going. But if we set up a massive long to-do list and we don't accomplish the things, then we oftentimes, right, probably feel like a failure, or we're not good enough, or there's something going on, right? Like, I need to be more productive, like all of the doing energy, right? But when we can look at our day and acknowledge ourselves for being connected and open and abundant and loving and courageous and, and showing up with some rigor and things like that, oh my goodness, the dopamine, the feel-good chemicals of who we showed up as a person, as a being, not about the doing. The fact that you had a connected conversation with someone, or you made an impact in someone's lives, or you had some fun, like, joy is often a word I also declare, right? Having joy with your loved ones, being present. Like, it's just, even as I'm sharing this with you, I'm feeling it in me because I'm already sitting myself in those moments of that being. And this is what the power is, right? As I'm sharing this with you, in my mind, I'm picturing when my girls get home from school today, playing with them. And that feels really good. And I can already feel those joys, the dopamine and like that joyous feeling of creating that moment, right? Because our brain doesn't know the difference between rehearsal and reality. So I'm rehearsing after school when they get home today, and I'm setting that powerful intention of who I get to be in that moment. And what happens too is we also take off this pressure. We also get to lean into, again, that intention and possibility on what gets to be created. And because of the shift in energy and neural hacking into what our focus gets to be, the day now becomes easier. And it's not about how much can I get done in this day. It shifts into how do I get to feel and what do I get to create in this day. And so when you feel and you feel that, well, it feels good, right? When you can feel that really good, like the goodness inside of you, right? When you look at your day, it supports you. And now maybe taking a look at the to-do list, I'm like, you know what? I might have gotten, who knows, 50% of what I on the to-do list, but I feel so good that, you know what? I'm going to tackle the rest tomorrow. Right? Our brains are wired for the negativity bias. And it's so easy to get into this pattern of like, I didn't do it. I'm frustrated, right? And all of this negativity. Whereas this is neural hacking, right? Being able to show up positively and experiencing all those feel-good chemicals, which is what the brain is searching for. Hence why there's the to-do list in the first place, because the brain knows, hey, if I write something down and I do it, check box, like I get a check mark or however you do it, you're like, that's what's happening. But here's the reality. We can neuro hack how we feel this feeling, right? It doesn't have to be based on a to-do list of what you're actually doing. It can also be how you feel. Hence the be, do, have. So here's a question I want to ask you to support you in this. When you were born into this world, were you born as a human being or a human doing? And I really want you to think about that. And so as you go into this day, as you go into this new week, and we're heading into a new month at the end of the week, I want to invite you to really look at how you're setting yourself up. What could it look like if you shifted and looked at who do I get to be today to create what I get to create today? And I'd love to hear from you. Well, I'd love to hear what you're declaring today on who you get to be and what ways of being you get to, how you get to show up. And I realize the time, because I'm committed to keeping this about 10 minutes, that I will dive into some of the common pitfalls I find with when you are doing to-do lists, and I'll lead in that tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in. Happy Monday, a beautiful new week ahead of us, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.